just get this party started. So I always recommend, if you, especially if you're feeling tightness in your hips, your low back, to give yourself something good to sit on. And just the act of sitting up a little bit, if you can get your knees lower than your hip bones, the hips tend to be able to relax pretty comfortably. So you may want to play with proppage. You also might feel fine with your knees up, might not bug you. So everybody's hips are their own thing. I'm going to sit here like this just because it feels nice. And I'm kind of crossed at the ankles this evening. And I'm going to let my arms slide out nice and long, close my eyes. Just let the top of my head float up. Good. And take a few deep breaths. Just looking for elongation. Good, and then from there, let's move your chin in a little bit and just feel the weight of the head begins to stretch the back of the neck. Good, see if you can isolate this. Oh, here comes Dorothy. See if you can isolate your stretch from C7 down. So say with your neck kind of lengthening. Here, I got you there. Here we go. So that the weight of the head is actually just stretching the neck here just by itself. And we'll inhale, come up, and then let your head float back. And just check in with yourself. At what point does this feel uncomfortable to you? Make sure you're not in a place where you're causing discomfort to the front of the neck. So once you've sort of played with your range of motion, take it down and up just a few times. So this light movement in those cervical discs can be good, kind of moving that fluid around. But again, you don't want to force and you don't want to strain. So just take that nice and slow. Make it steady, easy, even. Beautiful. So then let's pause with your chin, moving slightly in. And then same thing here. So just knowing this movement through your neck can be really therapeutic to your discs, and you don't have to push, you don't have to strain, just feel the lightness there, side to side. Good, and then let's pause and take one ear and one shoulder together. Let it come up, opposite ear and shoulder together. You might notice that your neck will adjust a little bit. Good, so that slow movement is such a really safe way to find release. There we go. Good, so let your head come back into neutral position and then just check in with your shoulders. Inhale, bring them up, and exhale, float them down. Bring it up, float it down. Roll your shoulders like you've never rolled them before. Just exploring, how are they? Good. And let them now travel in the opposite direction. Good. If it feels fun and fine, let one shoulder move forward, let the other shoulder move back. And almost feel yourself kind of wringing out. Good. And then let's take that the other way. One shoulder moving forward, other shoulder moving back. Good. So then from there, exhale, two shoulders up and then release. Good. Let's take our arms, reach out into a little Y shape. Good. And then roll the palms, let them roll back. Get a little softness in the elbows. Beautiful. From there, open wide, opposite hand to elbow. Pull across your body, inhale. And exhale, pull across your body just a few times. So feeling the stretch there through your upper back. Good, and then we're just gonna sweep, let the arms float all the way down and around, and then all the way up. So you're just drawing little circles. Good, and then you can take those circles, let them travel the other way. Good, let's pause with your two arms on top for a moment, and then slowly let them open. Bring the fingertips of one hand to the palm of the other and push back a little. Exhale, slide the fingertips so you switch sides and apply a little pressure so that the wrist stretches. Good. Take your two arms out and then just circle all the way through your fingers into the thumb. Arms circling wide, turn the fingertips up. Same thing. And then bring your fingertips, let them face in, back towards your body. And then underneath towards your armpits. And then bring your hands here to your rib cage. Good. Create a little stretch side to side now. Good. And so the ribs, kind of apply some pressure there to the hand. Stretching the wrist. Good. Let's slide your palms all the way together down the back. Open your chest, big stretch. Good. We'll release your hands to the thighs. Inhale, stretch, reach up. And exhale, now floating down. So we'll inhale, find a big breath, lifting. And exhale, floating down. Inhale, big breath, lifting. And exhale, floating down. One last time, inhale. Good, and let's just sit tall for a moment. Now, whatever leg you have in front, I've got my right one. I'm gonna extend that leg out and take a second and just wiggle through the toes. So almost like you were trying to grab something or play the piano. Put a lot of energy there in your toes. Point and flex your foot. And then feel the center of your heel connect into the floor. Inhale, bring your arms down your sides. Feel those muscles in the back. And then we'll exhale, bring the arms up. And then begin a little float forward. So now you can take a cat-cow. Inhale, stretch, reach, lift. And exhale, float back. Stretch, reach, lift. Good. Exhale, float back. Slow, steady, easy, even movement. Good. Lift. Beautiful. Hold for just a moment. Respread the toes. Respread the ball of the foot. Good. Let one arm sweep back behind you, opening your chest. Good. The arm can float back down. Opposite arm lifts. You open. Good. Two arms right back up. And the palms float underneath you as you change the position of the two legs. Good. So take a moment to sit tall and play the piano with your toes. Grab something valuable with your toes. Just reach out through your foot. And then from there, point and flex the foot a little bit. Feel the center of the heel. And then we'll inhale, sweep, take your arms up. And then exhale, floating the torso over the leg. Inhale, stretch, the sternum rises. And then we round it over. And the sternum rises up. And then we round. One more time. Find the sternum rising up, lengthen the back. Let's open one arm by first reaching it behind you, creating a twist. Good. Exhale, let that arm float down. Let the opposite arm first reach back. It opens the chest. And then we sweep that arm right back over. Inhale, 2 arms up. And then we'll float 2 legs out. And take a moment once again, spread the toes, put energy into the heels. Feel the center of the heels grounded, connected. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders, press in. Feel your back muscles elongating. I love seeing those toes. And then from there, exhale, bring the arms forward. So any amount. And then with the arms, anywhere you land, you can lightly pull back. Good. And then from there, let's sweep. Bring your 2 arms forward for a moment. And exhale up. Walk one leg out and the other leg out. And let's create a little sway side to side. So you're reaching towards a leg. Good. Let this be slow motion. Good. So now from here, we'll shift it up a little bit. Your front arm can sweep your body around. And then we'll just play with that pattern a few times. Good. Let's open 2 arms now. Bring the fingertips once again underneath your shoulders and pushing down. Lengthen out your back. Good. The arms float out and take your arm to one side. Opposite arm travels overhead. You can pull the rib cage in. Just exhale, sit tall, nice and slow. Reach the ribs, find yourself stretching on the other side. Top arm can travel up. Give this a few breaths. Beautiful. So now slowly let that arm travel forward. Same thing, sternum rises up as your tailbone moves back. Exhale, you can round under. Inhale, come up. And exhale, rounding under. Last time, inhale. And exhale, rounding under. Good. Inhale, let's sit tall. Again, wring out your fingers. Pull your 2 legs in and we'll come onto all fours. So I'm just gonna come this way and set my little sitting prop to the side. So begin with a cat-cow and palms under your shoulders, knees under the hips. And you can almost think about this happening in a waltz time. So you're gonna lift the head and the tail, 2, 3. And then lower down, 3, 2, 1. Lift your head and your tail, 2, 3. And coming down, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then from here, just take a moment and wag your tail. You can even kind of curl the rib cage side to side. Getting a nice little easy stretch into your back. Good. Letting the sides of you stretch. Good. We're going to walk our hands out just a little bit further. And now take your head down. And give a couple of breaths. This is just with your tailbone lifted still. So think energetic opposition. Tailbones are up, heads are down. And then we're going to press into the hands and let the hips and tailbone come down as your head comes up. So you can play with this movement just a few times for you as it feels comfortable. Head is down. And then we're going to exhale, let it come forward. And then the head moves back, back, back. Down with the tailbone up. Good. And then we'll release, let that come forward. Maybe try 2 more here. Good. And then after your next round, let's go ahead and pause with your tailbone up in the air and just get a nice stretch for your low back. Exhale, bring some weight forward now and just let your hips stretch, stretch, stretch. Keeping the shoulders moving down. We're going to inhale, bring your hips back. And now this time, bring one arm. I'm taking my left arm underneath me. And take a few breaths here. And then with the opposite arm, I'm going to push down, come up, sweep that arm back behind me, and exhale, bring it under. Inhale, bring yourself forward once again. See about sliding your right knee forward and then letting your left thigh move back. And so from here, let's begin a light little rocking. If this doesn't feel comfortable, put a sitting bone or some kind of block here, or put a block or some kind of cushion underneath your sitting bone. Good, just letting the front of you release. Letting the hips rock, rock, rock. Excellent. And then as you feel comfortable, you can bring the arms down a little closer to the floor. You could even cup your chin in your 2 hands and just rest here comfortably for a moment. Good. I'm now going to take my 2 hands across my body so they've come to that same side as my bent front leg. Just going to get a little deeper into this stretch. Good. You can bend your back knee if you like. Hand and foot may even come together. Can exhale, release, let that leg float back. And then I'm just gonna open and reach my torso away from my two legs, like so. And then from this position, exhale, bring myself right back over. And my two hands come in front of the mat. Push with that back foot and come into an all fours position again. This time, before we do the other side, just draw a few circles with your tailbone. And circling around the other way. Excellent. So now the opposite leg, so this is my left leg, is now going to slide forward. And then in this position, I'm going to take that gentle rocking of my hips side to side. Good. And then if it feels nice, I'll lower onto the floor and then bring my hands right underneath my chin. So my neck's not doing any weight to hold me up here, or not having to hold any weight. And like if it feels nice to continue to rock the hips, do that. So you're basically moving the weight from the front leg side to the back leg side, and that will deepen the stretch in your hip. Good, and then as you feel ready, walk your two hands out. The back knee can bend. And then the hand can move to the hip or to the foot if you want, only if that feels nice. The knee can bend. We can push up and then just stretch ourselves away from the hips. So this is lowering any amount that feels right and good and safe to you. And then from here, we're just gonna transition, lifting up. And then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna place a little cushion for my head and bring myself down here onto the floor for a moment. So my head is resting. Let me see. Okay, great. So with my head resting here, I'm going to push my feet into the floor and begin just a light little rocking of the hips and pelvis side to side. So pushing through the feet, letting your pelvis rise up, getting a little stretch in the hips. Good. See if you can kind of relax into that movement. Beautiful. And then from there, let's go ahead, leave your two knees parallel, and then bring one knee over your chest, and just exhale, set that down. So see if you can articulate all of your foot, toe, ball, heel, as you set the foot down. Peel up the opposite foot, heel, ball, toe. Bring it in, and set it down. Slow, easy movement. Good, and right back down. And other side. Good. So now we're going to take that same movement again, but your toes are going to only tap the floor. So this is just nice and light. Good. And then from there, let's pause and let the hip bones or the femur bones lightly circle in your hips. Good, and then they'll circle the other way. Good, let's set one foot down. That's my left foot there on the floor. And then with my right leg, I'm gonna ride just a really small imaginary bicycle. So reaching up and out, down and in. Good, feeling that work through the kneecap. Good, let's pause and let the hands here now come to your hamstring, and you can kind of anchor the leg with one hand and rub the hamstring with the other. Just feeling in there. Good. And then let the leg relax in the hip socket, and we're going to open and close. So just feeling the inner outer rotation, open and close. Good, so now as you externally rotate, let the knee bend, and then you're gonna lengthen back up. Knee bends, and it lengthens. Knee bends, and it lengthens. Knee bends, it lengthens. Now let's hold the bend in the knee, place the foot on the other thigh, and begin a nice little rocking side to side. Good, and then from there, let's just pause in a more neutral position. Lift the knees so that the legs come over the chest. Interlace your fingers around the other leg. Good, you can bend and straighten this knee also. Just a few times. And you can move that thigh a little closer to you just a few times so that there's a deeper opening in your hip. And then we're going to go ahead and rest that foot on the floor. Slide it all the way out. And then if you like, open your top hip. So now it's folded over. And give a few big breaths here. Exhale, let that leg come and twist across you. And then keeping the knee bent, place the foot on the floor and let the opposite leg lift. And you're just gonna ride the small, slow, imaginary one-legged bicycle. Pay attention to how your knee feels as it extends, as it bends. Try to feel your back relax and change the direction. Good. Let's take 2 hands now to this thigh for a moment and just rub into your hamstring. And from here, go ahead, release the arms and work the inner outer rotation of the knee. The femur bone really in the hip socket. So you're just feeling the knee roll. And the knee can stay soft and bent, maybe even a little bit deeper each time. Beautiful. And then we're going to place the foot there on the thigh. Allow the hips to rock side to side. So in no part of the motion are you ever in a hurry. It can all be just really slow. And then we're going to exhale, pausing in the center. Lift the leg up off of the floor. Good. You can interlace your hands around this leg. Good. Just take a few breaths. And then you can also extend and bend this knee. Just light movement. Doesn't have to be a full extension. And then with the knee bent, kind of work the femur bone into your ankle, feeling a deep stretch in the back of your opposite hip. And then from here, let's slowly just bring that foot back down to the floor. Leave this top foot on the thigh as you slide out. Get a stretch. Using an exhale, you can open the arms and then fold that knee across your body. And from there, we'll exhale, bring the leg back up. Bring the opposite leg up and then hug your hands around your 2 legs and let the knees move out a little bit closer to your armpits. Good. I'm just kind of lightly rocking my back side to side. And then if you feel like giving an extra stretch here to this right leg, put your hand anywhere in the leg that feels comfortable. Let it move out. If it feels nice with the arm, you can apply a little pressure and deepen the stretch in the hamstring. And then exhale, release, folding the leg in. And then try that on the other side. Good. So now let's pause. Bring your 2 shins a little more vertical And let the low back just be a little more horizontal. Continue this little bit of rocking action in the hips. Good. We'll let the soles of the feet come together. And again, the arms, if it feels nice and comfortable, can apply a little pressure there to your feet. Good. Let your right shin cross in front of your left and then just rock the back. So we did this sitting. Now we're doing it lying back. Change the cross of the legs. And same thing, just rock it out. And then when you feel ready, place your feet on the floor and you can tuck your pelvis under and then set the pelvis down gently. So keep your feet anchored firm in the floor, tuck the pelvis under, lift only so slightly, and then right back down. So you're just paying attention to that deepest, lowest part of your spine. Good, and then from there, let the soles of the soles of the feet come together and the hips stretch. They open. Your arms could reach up overhead. See how low you can move your breath here. And so now your back leg, or the leg furthest from the computer screen, is going to roll over. And we'll keep our knees bent to begin. And I want you to just play with finding some movement in your top arm, keeping it soft. And then allow that arm to travel the other way. I really feel, explore your chest, your shoulder. Good, the arm can stretch and travel behind you, getting big opening. And then we're gonna exhale and place the hand down. Lift your top knee and we'll just come down and up a few times. So the knee floats up. As you push with the foot, you might feel deeper stretch in the inner thigh. Let's hold this foot up, or hold this knee up for a moment. And then let the knee float down and up just a few times with a soft knee. Good, and then that knee might just circle a few times. Really slow. Let it travel the other way. And then we Take this top hand to the knee. Apply a little pressure pulling in. But it feels nice to kind of lightly rock the back side to side. Good, so feel that place where your top hip, right over your bottom hip. Hook the arm around the leg and then allow it to extend. Let's slowly let that leg travel forward. Arm travels back. Use an exhale. Bring the hand and the ankle together and then reach the knee joint back. Get a big stretch through the front of the hip. Let's rest that top leg over the bottom leg for just a moment. And when you feel ready, pushing with your arms, you can bring yourself up. We'll just transition onto the other side. Okay. Take this slow for yourself. Good, so once you're down and you're comfortable, again, you can see I'm propping my head here just to aid the relaxation here. Pause for just a moment and just anchor into that top arm. So it might feel nice to even put a hand there at your clavicle. Just feel that part of you open, supported. The arm floats in the shoulder socket. Good. Pay attention to where there's tightness. Move slowly. And then you can allow that arm to travel the other way. Good. And then we're going to exhale. Just bring the arm. We'll first stretch it back for a moment. A deep opening into the chest. And then exhale, the arm comes forward and the top knee can bend and straighten a few times. So as you push down with the top foot, maybe feel more opening in your hip. Let's pause with the knee up and then let the knee just float down and up so the toe taps the floor, knee comes closer to the shoulder. Good, and then let's just try a few small circles. Femur bone in the hip socket. circling the other way. And then we'll pause as the knee comes in a little closer to the chest. And you can place the hand here at the shin bone. Just stretch for a moment or lightly rock the hip. The weight of the arm is kind of helping you get a deeper stretch, but you're not pushing, forcing. Good, and then we're gonna sweep the arm there underneath the leg. You can bend and straighten a few times. Good, and maybe after a round or two more, hold and breathe for just a couple breaths. And then we'll slowly bring that top leg down and take your top arm back. And then let's exhale, bring all that in for a moment and just rest. And then when you feel ready, you can push, bring yourself once again up into all fours. And this time, let's let your head, if it will, come all the way down to the floor. And again, you can rock your weight a little bit forward and back on the top of the head. And then let's pause here. See about bringing your knees wide, your toes together, and letting the hips move back. So imagine little baby elephants here standing on your sacroiliac. You can even kind of rub with your own hands. We'll open your arms, take them wide for a moment. Inhale, come stretch up. And then once again, bring your hands cupped under your chin. You can take your index fingers, if you'd like, to your temples and just rub lightly. You can bring your thumbs to behind the jaw and to just rub lightly here. And then maybe also I'm bringing my middle fingers to my third eye point in between my two eyes and just rubbing in. Kind of letting the weight of my head apply some pressure. Spreading out across my brow. Good. And then for a moment, just rest your head in your hands with your eyes closed. And then from here, we're just going to bring ourselves down. Take a couple breaths in a Shavasana. So whatever feels comfortable to you. Moving yourself back down to the floor. Maybe your back prefers bent knees or your feet up on a prop. That's always an option. Maybe you want a little prop underneath your head or your shoulders. Anywhere that feels good. Let your weight just come, settle, ground. I'm going to bring my legs, I think, a little wide. And that provides a nice stretch to the hips. And see if you can let yourself go into the floor. Let your breath move deep and full, nice and low. See if you can create some long inhales and even longer exhales. And then when you feel ready, you can begin to lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And circle the ankles, circle the wrists. Take your arms up, stretch out overhead. And then we'll exhale and just slowly bring yourself over onto one side. And then lightly pushing with your hands, bringing yourself up into seated position. We can bring palms together, bow the head, close the eyes. Your practice is a gift, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Namaste.